Sarah, every time you're on Zoom and you're sitting in that chair, it's like you're in a throne. You're on Zoom.
We are live.
Thank you.
Like you're in a throne. You're on Zoom.
We are live.
Thank you.
We are live.
Yeah, Becky, you're welcome to. I actually can't locate that email. But right now we do not have a quorum. We have six members of the board.
Okay, I'll text him very quickly.
Alyssa joined us, Pat. We have 7.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, wrong
Awesome.
medium on the wrong camera. I'm here now.
Awesome. All right, so we now have a quorum.
Okay. Okay. I sent him a text anyway.
Okay.
And, we'll see if he comes.
All right. And Terry or anyone else, if you do see another board member join, if you can just let me know, that would be helpful. Okay.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to our March 2nd, 2023. I'm at home on my new work computer trying to log into my home Wi-Fi. Matt Lillibridge is trying to log in on his home Wi-Fi. He has a new work computer. So I think his intention is to be here. Good evening. Sorry for that interruption. Welcome to our Thursday, March 2nd, 2023 regular school board meeting. We'll begin by introducing board members.
Actually, Becky, probably since we're online, this would be the time to do a roll call. And before you do that, I would also just inform the public that we are following policy BED, remote participation in school board meetings. The school board does have a policy that will allow them to meet virtually if everyone meets virtually due to adverse weather conditions. And when we had to make a decision this morning, it looked like the snow was wrapping back around later this afternoon to about 7, 8 o'clock. So thought with everyone traveling, this was the safest route. I think it has now stopped actually, but at the time when we made the decision, that's why we decided to follow policy BED. So would you like me to do roll call?
I would love it. Thank you.
All right, Becky Flass.
Here.
Megan Carlson. Teresa Garrett. Matt Lillibridge. Jim Lothridge.
Here.
Nicole Medore.
Here.
Matt Marshall.
Here.
Chris McGlellan. Jack Pitheroff.
Here.
Diane Potter.
Here.
Alyssa Tracy.
Here.
Tony Veet. Sophie Matthew.
Here.
Alyssa Henderson.
Here.
Great.
Excellent. Administrative staff.
Pat Hopkins, superintendent. And I will go around calling on people. Terry.
Terry McGuire, Director of Technology.
Nate.
Nate Stubbert, Athletic Director.
Tiffany.
Tiffany Cockwell, Interim Principal at Pittston Randolph.
Amber. Amber. Sorry, Gabe.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on Amber's computer. Gabe Dostey, Operations Director.
All right. You guys are moving around here on my screen. Chad.
Chad Kempton, High School Principal.
Andrea Dish,
Andrea Dish, Business Manager.
Angela,
Angela Hardy, Director of Curriculum.
Alicia,
Alicia Morris, Director of Special Services.
Jared,
Jared Dumas, High School Assistant Principal.
Jackie,
Jackie Perret, High School Assistant Principal.
Katie,
Katie Gould, Principal at Helen Thompson School.
Karen,
Sorry, I was muted again. Karen Reed, Principal of Lower Richard School.
Sarah,
Sarah Sims, Principal Gardner Regional Middle School.
Vicky,
Vicky Duguay, Principal of Riverview Community School.
all right, did I miss anyone?
Matt Lilliebridge, did you just come in? He's connecting to the audio right now.
There he
Okay,
is.
great. Thank you very much. Okay,
Excellent.
that's roll call.
Yay. All righty, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comment. We don't have a method for that, correct? Unless they write in the chat. Or thrill share?
No one came into the meeting.
Okay.
So this meeting is open. Anyone can join this Zoom and no one is here. So I would say there are no members of the public present.
All right. Let's hope they're watching. Review and approval of agenda minutes.
Yes, you received a revised agenda yesterday, and to that, I would like to add just 2 items. One, under recognition and celebration. Under number 4, I'd like to add Katie Nestor, who has been accepted to the Mid-Maine Youth Orchestra, and she has been selected as the concert master. So that's great news. And then under Let's see, hiring. I'm looking under general information. Under D, I have Noelle Walker as an Ed Tech 2 in the autism program at Helen Thompson. And those are the only 2 changes that I have.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as altered.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay, let's see. Moved by Nicole and seconded by Jen. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
No, you have to do roll call.
Yes, that's, can I say that and then you'll know? Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so approval of the
Thank you.
agenda, Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matt Lilliebridge,
Here. Terry, can you shoot me a message so I'm not looking at my entertainment center? Because this is the first time I've done Zoom and it's not looking at me. I'm an idiot.
Join the club.
all right, Jim Lothridge.
Here.
This is approval of the agenda, so yay.
Yay, sorry.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yay.
Nicole,
Yay.
Matt Marshall,
Yay.
Jack Pitheroff,
Yay.
Diane Pother,
Yay.
Teresa, Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Sophie Matthew,
Yay.
and Alyssa Henderson.
Yay.
Great. That is unanimous.
Thank you. Approval of meetings, minutes from previous meetings, the regular board meeting of February 2nd, and the special board meeting expulsion hearing from February 13th, 2023. Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
So
Second.
moved by Alyssa, okay, and second by Jack. Roll call, please.
All right, Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matt Lillibridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Madore,
Yay.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroff,
Yay.
Diane Potter,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Sophie Matthew,
Yay.
Alyssa Henderson.
Yay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, recognitions and celebrations. Matthew Marshall, this is Matthew's last meeting, and I'd like to personally take a moment to just thank you so much for your service on the board. I think when we began on the board together that we probably couldn't have thought that we were more different and that might not be fun. But I've learned that we're not that different, and that we have a real ability between us to talk through things that are difficult. And I have loved working with you, your laser focus on kids, and your commitment, even when it was difficult, personally for you and the changes in your life. I'm going to miss you. This has just been so much fun to get to know you and to work with you. And I'll still know you because you're not dying. You're just leaving this room. So, but I want to just publicly thank you so much for just being that guy who was able to make great, thoughtful decisions that had the board and the community and the students right in focus all the time. And that's a real gift that you've brought to the board, and you get it. You get the business that we're supposed to do. So I just personally want to say thank you for that, and that we're going to miss you. And I don't know if there's anyone else who would like to chime in and say anything. If not, that doesn't mean that they don't like you or love you just as much.
I mean,
Yes,
I
we
will
can all
also
be-
add, yeah, we will miss you, Matt. You've provided some incredible leadership, and you were always so thoughtful and direct when you needed to be direct. And I really enjoyed working with you. And I too will miss you. I will miss your time on the board and some of your insights. So I hope you stay in touch. I hope we still see you around, but please know just how much your time has been valued and appreciated. And we will indeed miss you.
Pat, if I can pile on, this is Matt, even though you can't see me. And I don't know what happened to Zoom since the last time we were in COVID. There used to be the little raise hand function and all that other stuff, but it's all missing. But Matt, I'll also echo the fact of, it was great having you on the board. And even though we came from the same background, excuse me, sometimes we had a little different take on things, but, I always knew that there was, a guy I could count on in the room who kind of shared the same viewpoint as me, and, that of the greater good and stuff like that. And, I'll miss being able to look across the board and, you and I rolling our eyes at, something that might have been said or whatever. The level of candor and clarity that you brought to things was always great to have. So we'll miss you, buddy.
Is it okay? Oh,
Yeah, Angela.
not a board member, but I've had the opportunity to work with Matt as he served as the chair of the curriculum committee. And I think he might have entered that wondering why that committee was one he was going to be working on. But we've come to work together quite a bit in the last 2 years. And I think that you know a lot about teaching and learning. And I've been really appreciative of your ability to ask really hard questions, to think critically, and to ultimately champion the students and the staff in our district. I appreciate that.
And can I say something?
Yes, Diane.
I'm really going to miss you, Matt, on the curriculum committee. I think we both enjoy it and all the things we hear, and having you there with I like your strong voice. You're never wishy-washy, and I like that. And I've enjoyed you.
So thank you, Matt. We're gonna miss you.
Well, thank you, everybody. So many kind words. It's been a wonderful 5 years. My style is that I really don't like to leave things unfinished, but life is what it is. Life in the big city, and unfortunately, I am no longer going to be tied to Gardner. Doesn't mean I won't in the future. Maybe, who knows? But I entered this whole thing with the idea that I was going to roll in and make all kinds of changes, and my voice would be heard. But I quickly understood as time went on that there are really no politics in school board business, frankly. I mean, there are no Republicans, there are no Democrats, there are no independents, because it's all about the kids. We have our opinions. Some of us are a little more conservative, some of us aren't necessarily conservative. I always sort of considered myself a moderate conservative. But the big thing that I really enjoy about the board and the board members and the staff, everybody respects one another's opinion, and they actually listen. And if there have been many times that my opinion has been changed by some folks that I would never ever think prior to being on the board that could possibly change my opinion. And so it's important, I think, to look through the lens of folks that aren't like-minded. And I'm really going to miss that, in the future. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Pat. There's without a doubt, and I've told many people behind the scenes, and you probably never heard it. I may have told you a couple of times, but I honestly think that you are probably one of the best superintendents throughout the entire state. And we are absolutely so lucky to have you. And I feel the same way about you, Angela. I don't think that there is another curriculum person that knows as much as you and has as much insight as you do when it comes to thinking forward and what the needs are for our kids, and of course balancing the budget as well. It's very difficult, and you do that very, very well. And Andrea, goes without saying, you handle the checkbook, and every single audit we've ever had you've received rave reviews from auditors with very few issues, if any. I can't remember one, frankly. Terry, this couldn't be done without you. You're remarkable at what you did, and the one thing that the key player in all this whole COVID business was you. What you brought to the table allowed our kids to connect, to learn. As much as remote learning stunk, you made it a lot more bearable and easy for them and our staff as well. And the principals, you all know what you do on a daily basis. I don't have to say, you're out there in the foxhole, fighting for the kids every day and fighting for the staff. And I really greatly appreciate everything that you've done and continue to do. And to everybody on the board, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things. It's very difficult sometimes. As I mentioned, I think on Facebook earlier, I've been humbled by some of the positive remarks that I've received, but also some of the negative things that I've received, some of the negative remarks or emails that I've gotten over the years. It just kind of makes you think, to Angela's point, makes you think a little bit more critically and looking from a different lens of those that may not agree with how you think or feel. But Becky, look, you need to serve as long as you want to serve. I think without you on the board and your experience over the last, more than 20 years, the district would have definitely suffered with somebody with less experience and drive as you. So your leadership has been remarkable for the board. You and I have had some conversations that I greatly appreciate, and I consider you a very, very good friend. So in the future, you'll see me around. We'll still talk, and I love you all, and I appreciate all of your kind words, and I hope nothing but the best for everybody.
Thank you, Matt. It's a tough one. Thank you for all you've done. Whew, that's a hard one. This is the last meeting for Pittston representative, or the second representative from Pittston, Teresa Garrett. She, I don't believe, has taken out papers, so this would have been her last meeting. And then the rest of the recognitions are as written.
Yes.
Okay.
But I
Correspondence?
do want to, of course, I do want to just quickly call out Ellie Lucan, Sharon Gallant, two of our teachers who have been nominated for the 2023 Kennebec County Teacher of the Year, and Sean Jimenez. You all know Sean, and he actually placed first in the American Legion oratorical competition, and will be going to Illinois, I think, somewhere in Illinois in April to compete at the national level. So kudos to Sean, and we wish him the best of luck. And I've already mentioned Katie Nestor.
Next, correspondence.
So we have lots of correspondence. I won't go through them all. Lots of, it's that time of the year where staff who do not plan to return next year need to notify us. Many of them have a March 1st deadline if they're going to retire. So you'll see a number of resignations and retirements. But there is one that I do want to highlight. That you are all aware of, and that is our resignation letter from Mr. Kempton, our high school principal. I know he wants to go out quietly, but Mr. Kempton, I can't do that. This is another huge loss for MSAD11, for Gardner Area High School. Chad has worked for MSAD11 for 25 years, 20 years as the high school principal. Prior to him taking over as principal, long before me, it's my understanding there was a lot of turmoil at the high school and a lot of turnover amongst the administration. And Chad came in and quickly earned the respect, much deserved respect of the staff, of students, and of parents in the overall community. He has demonstrated incredible leadership and integrity through his tenure. I think for those of you who've known me a while, you've probably heard the story that my first couple years here, I'd be walking down the hallway with Mr. Kempton, and students would actually stop and make sure that I knew personally that the only reason they were still in school was because of Mr. Kempton, that he did all he could and needed to do to support them to make sure that they got through graduation. And for students to recognize that and make a point of bringing it to my attention just really speaks to who he is as a person as well as a school leader. And so filling his shoes, replacing Mr. Kempton is going to be a hard thing to do. So I send out my heartfelt respect and gratitude to Chad. I will miss him dearly, and I wish him the best of luck in whatever is in front of him in the future. And I hope we still see him around town and maybe at games, right? Football games, basketball games. So best of luck, Chad.
Thank you, Pat.
Dad, you've been here, I think, as long as I've been around, or shortly, like really shortly thereafter. And I've never known a high school principal that was as committed to the success. And I know all of our administrators are committed to that success, but that extra mile that you continue to go with credit recovery and getting the buy-in for that with your staff and with the students that they do it, it's really incredible. And these are going to be some pretty big boots to fill. And I also want to say, Jackie, it's really nice to see you here tonight. I've missed seeing you, and Jared as well. It's nice to see people that we don't get to see very often. But we really are going to have to shake some serious bushes to find anybody that can come close to the commitment that we've had for so many years after having such a couple of really difficult exits from the principals at the high school. I'm very grateful for everything you've done and for staying a little while after our kids graduated. That was really kind of you. You went beyond your promise. So we're going to miss you.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome. We're gonna get to have a much bigger celebration, I'm sure, when it gets to this isn't it. There's something. We're not there yet.
No.
Committee reports. Rather than go through everything except for policy, I think all the minutes are in your packet, and since the meeting is streamed and our agendas and reports are published, I think I will leave it to you all to read those minutes.
Actually,
No?
Becky, not this time around. Normally, I would 100% support that proposal, but Jim wanted to do a presentation on CATC. I'm not sure if he still wants to do that. And then we have curriculum committee and the finance committee. There are items that they need to present to the board for approval or adoption. So we actually do need to go through some of these committees
Well, all right,
tonight.
then I apologize. And there's something rattling. Do you hear the rattling in my house?
No.
Okay, good. I do. All right then, Capital Area Technical Center.
My presentation is going to have to wait for next month. Frankly, I've been having trouble with my computer and I can't get my pictures uploaded off my phone to the computer to send them to Terry. And writing a presentation is a lot harder than it used to be 50 years ago. So I'm working. I will have that done for our next meeting. I will say that the opportunity to attend the Capital Area Open House was fantastic. Next year, anybody that can go from the board should try to go. What these young folks are doing is phenomenal. We're, not everybody is going to go to college, but not everybody that goes to the tech school is not going to go to college. There's a lot of crossover. It's a great place for the students. So I will have one way or the other, if I have to borrow a computer, I'll get it up and loaded. So, and Terry has agreed to help me with that as far as getting them on to our next meeting. So thank you.
All right, Jim. We'll look forward to that.
Yep.
Next, curriculum committee.
So for curriculum, let me just say, Matt, that there are only 3 items that need to come to the board for approval. So your adoption of your math program, your job description, and your job description does not, because that went to policy, and then the program of studies. So just 2 need to come, okay? Okay,
great. At our February meeting, we had an executive session, which we can't discuss. There was a review and considering for approval for recommendation to the board of the adoption of the math program for special education services, K through 12. which we'll vote on, obviously. As Pat mentioned, 2 job descriptions, which earlier in the meeting we went over in policy, and the 2023-24 program of studies for the Garden Area High School, we went over as well. Angela, Pat, did we want to have any discussion regarding the 2 things that the board's going to need to vote on? I'm assuming Angela might want something to say, or?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if you could just highlight what it was that you approved in regards to the math program and what changes you made to the program of studies.
Okay. Perfect. Angela?
Okay. So the math program is especially designed for intervention services for students with IEPs. So students with IEPs have targeted skills they're working on learning, and they're engaged in their classroom instruction. So this math program will allow us to to have the materials and resources to enable work on those targeted skills while students still attend their regular math program. It's something we don't have now, and it's been a significant need. Sarah Boldick-Ignaziak is our Assistant Director of Special Services, and she came to the meeting and prepared a presentation, and that was also attached to the agenda and I believe these minutes. So we reviewed the need, the purpose, the process, and the professional development and the funding of, and the funding is coming through a grant that funds were set aside for this purpose, but we can't expend them until we receive support from the board. So the committee unanimously voted in favor. So that's the recommendation we have for this board. Shall I go to the other one or wait?
Why don't we do one at a time? So
Okay.
if someone wanted to make a motion, and then I'll have to do roll call. Matt
Anyone willing
Marshall,
to
was
make
that
a
a
motion?
motion? You're muted, Matt.
I'm actually trying to get back up on my phone so I can read it. So I will make a motion to consider to the board of the adoption of the math program for special education services K through 12.
I'll second.
Great. I'll do roll call. So
Thank you.
Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matt Lillibridge,
Okay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yes.
Nicole Medor,
Yes.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitteroff,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yes.
Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Great. It's unanimous.
Great. No meeting for dropout prevention. The finance committee meeting. Yes.
Becky, there was a second motion that they were going to have to make on
Oh,
the
you're right,
program of studies.
You're right.
So the second element was the 2023-24 program of studies for Gardner Area High School. Every year at this time of year, the high school leadership and staff bring forward any revisions to the program of studies to the curriculum committee for review and discussion. And then those edits are refined and then brought forward to the board. In generally speaking, the program of studies, the only changes that were made for this coming year were a few edits to clarify language to some courses. So not significant content changes, but just clarification, adjustments to ensure they're relevant to the current standards. Maybe a grade access by a grade level was changed in a few different locations. And then there were additional electives that were reviewed and approved. So those are not mandatory courses. They're certainly courses that are usually highly interesting and engaging, and students take as their schedule allows, and they only run if we have enough students to sign up for them. And so that is why this program of studies is approved so early in the year, so that we can efficiently move through the 8th grade enrollment process and then the high school and registration process, so we can start matching staff to student enrollment requests and be well prepared for the launch of the next school year. Are there any questions about the program of studies? It was attached to our documents, and it's many pages long.
I have a question. I'm trying to find them and I don't see them in any of the attached documents. Where should I be looking?
If you look for the curriculum committee agenda in February, they're in the email from Martha Allen. It's attached.
Yeah, I don't see it.
From February?
Yes. It's a 2-page agenda, but is it a
There were
link?
a million attachments to that curriculum agenda.
Yeah, I have one attachment. So I'll look for it with you after then, because I don't have it.
I can put myself on mute and identify the.
Not urgent. I just wanted to look. Let me look back. Maybe it's the first one. Okay. Hold on. I think I'm getting there. So from February 8th, not the one from.
This is the February 8th, right? The February 8th agenda.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
And that way you can see the edits in the February 8th agenda attachment. You can actually see where the edits are.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I'm glad you raised that.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure. Yep. You know me. I love my data.
Any other questions about the program of studies? Mr. Kempton, did we do all right on that? Okay. Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2023-24 program of studies for the Garden Area High School.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Becky? Becky
Yes.
Plus?
Sorry, I muted.
Nope, that's okay. Matthew Lillybridge?
Yep.
Jim Lothridge?
Yes.
Nicole Medor?
Yes.
Matt Marshall?
Yes.
Jack Pitheroff?
Yay.
Diane Potter?
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy?
Yay.
Sophie Matthew?
Yes.
And Alyssa Henderson?
Yes.
Great. That's unanimous.
Great, thank you. Let's see. We're done, yes, with curriculum? That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Finance Committee, we met 2 days ago. I've kind of lost track of the days this week with all the snow. I can't keep track of where we are, but anyway, we met 2 days ago, the Finance Committee. And we mostly talked about budget items. It was a very long meeting. Andrea did a great job of walking us through the ED 279, which I always go away learning something new. So thank you for that, Andrea. And we also worked on the cost per pupil that we're gonna be looking at more intensively and this budget season, so that we can help to make it clear to our taxpayers just what cost per pupil means and how it varies and changes from community to community. So Pat really is working on that. The 3 things that we need to vote on, I'm going to ask Andrea and Pat to help with. The first one being the food service equipment. Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So the conversation is there was a request for next year's budget for 3 pieces of equipment from our food service director, Linda Sargent. The 3 pieces of equipment were a dishwasher or are a dishwasher for LER, a planetary mixer for the Pittston School, and a reach-in freezer for the high school. And I believe when I provided the finance agenda, I sent it to all the board members, and included in with that was a letter, actually an email from the director of school nutrition explaining her need for each of the pieces of equipment. As I said, the equipment total less than 20,000. After looking at our budget and seeing that there was carryover from the school nutrition program from the end of last year, which is something that we don't necessarily have. And those are for reasons I mentioned in the finance committee. Rather than add $20,000 additional to next year's budget, in my opinion, it made sense to allow her to purchase the equipment from that carryover during the current year. So that is the ask. Linda has done her due diligence. While you see only one quote for each of the pieces of equipment, I have 3 quotes for each. And what you have in front of you, or what was emailed to you previously in the week, is the less of the 3 quotes for each piece of equipment.
Any questions from board members? Pat, we should do these 3 separately, correct? All right.
Yes, please.
Okay. I would like to ask for a motion then to approve the purchase of the food service equipment out of this year budget that we're living through right now, so that we can not raise the budget any more than we need to for the next year. So,
I'll second that.
oh, thank you, Matt. Questions or comments? All right then, roll call, please.
Okay, Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matthew Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yes.
Nicole Major,
Yes.
Matthew Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroth,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy, Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Great, that's unanimous.
Thank you. Second, that requires a vote is the school revolving renovation fund.
Pat, do you want me to take that as well?
Yeah, would you please go ahead?
Absolutely. So as you may or may not remember, at the beginning of the year, the school applied for actually we applied for 2 school revolving renovation applications through the Department of Education. One of which was the asbestos abatement project at the high school. The other project was the catwalk, replacement of the catwalk at the high school. As Pat informed you in a previous meeting, we were awarded our application for the asbestos abatement. So there are things that I need for you to know, and then I will let you know what my ask is, or what our ask is. The project funded amount was $258,000. Of that amount, the state of Maine will fund the same percentage. It funds the EPS for us in the current year, which is 68.77%. So basically 177,000 will be forgiven. The remainder of which is approximately 81,000 is money that we would have to raise. In order to raise these funds, we would need to apply for a bond from the Maine Bond Bank. In addition, we would also need to go out to public referendum for the taxpayers of our communities to approve the bond. The exception to that is if we are able to fund the 80,000 from our current year budget. In my opinion, it makes sense to use some of our contingency and our remaining funds that we typically have remaining at the end of the year for carry forward to fund the abatement project rather than having to go out to referendum. In addition, each of you have been, I believe, emailed a copy of the resolution to adopt the school revolving renovation, the grant that was given to us from the state. So one is the ask to fund from the current year and then the second is to actually adopt or a motion for us to move forward with adopting the renovation money.
And just so for clarification, Andrea, it's actually closer to 90,000, not 81. It's 89 something for the district to cover, and that will all be dependent upon the actual cost, of the project. And the abatement project includes the high school cafeteria floor, the mini gym, and having the floor up there replaced as well, because those are asbestos tile floor. And so we'll put in new tiles.
So according to the eligibility certificate that I have in front of me from the state, it says, I don't mean to correct you, that our portion is $80,797. In the event that the project comes in less than the 258, we would still be responsible for 31.23% of the overall project cost. Sorry, Pat.
So no, I'm glad you clarified, because the resolution that was sent to me and sent to the board says 89,797. So whoever typed that in, that is an error. So that's important to catch. So I'm really glad that you told me that it's incorrect, so that we can correct it. So if it's approved by the board tonight, this document has to be corrected before I can sign it. So basically what we're looking for is a motion that is in that document. And it says that I move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize School Revolving Renovation Fund Loan Forgiveness Grant be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that the secretary, which is me, file an attested copy of said vote within the minutes of this meeting. And that is with the understanding that we will, using contingency money and a little extra money out of Gabe's budget, that we will fund the district's portion, which will not exceed $80,797.
Does it need to be read exactly as that's presented?
Yes, but I just said it, so you can just say, as Pat
Okay,
said,
I've got it in
that's
front of
fine.
me. I can read it, or I will just happily say what Pat said. I
Okay.
I move.
All right, moved as Pat read. And could we have a second for that?
I see Matt Marshall.
All right. Roll call, please. We need a bugle.
I know. Becky Fless.
Yes.
Matt Lillybridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medore.
Yes.
Matt Marshall.
Yes.
Jack Pitteroff.
Yay.
Diane Potter.
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Sophie Matthew.
Yes.
And Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. And lastly, from the Finance Committee, we've been talking about for several years, the need for another person in the business office, a generalist is what we're calling it, an office generalist, to assist with all the duties that are needed in the back office with Andrea. And what we'd like to do is to begin advertising and fill this position now, if the board, with the board's approval.
Yes, and with the understanding that we have some American recovery funds. And
Rescue
I
funds,
had
right.
built into that particular grant some money to help cover for the back office. And so that we could access those funds to get us through the remainder of this year, and then just build this into the budget for next year. Andrea shared with you that the salary, I think she budgeted a salary of about 52. Then there's of course health benefits and all of the other associated costs. So I don't know what you're looking at. I don't remember the amount, around 72, 75, something like that. So I just want to, for full disclosure, that's what we'll need how much we'll need to add to the budget. But it is an incredibly important position. You're right, Becky, we've talked about it for years. The central office is understaffed, and it's just at a place where we just can't do it any longer. We really need to have the support.
And we get on Andrea's, we get on Andrea all the time, take time. But Andrea's just not going to take time. If there's things that are left undone and unfinished, and it makes her and the staff and the superintendent uncomfortable because things are not going to get done. We really do need this assistance for the business office to have what they need, and in order to keep our audits clean, and to be able, for everyone to be able to pay attention where their attention is needed.
But
Sorry if I cut you off.
No, I cut you off. I don't want this to be about me. My staff as well is unable to take time. And what I said in the meeting the other night is I am the short-term backup in the event the payroll person goes down. And honestly, I don't think that's a good short-term or long-term plan. We tried to keep the accounts payable position going while we transitioned and filled that position this summer. And it was at a time when it was basically just monthly bills, and it was all we could do with everything. So with all of the articles in the newspaper about other school districts having problems with payroll and in central office, it's time that we do this to protect ourselves and for the best interest of the district and the business office. So that is my reasoning.
Can I apply?
Can you apply? Sure.
Actually, no, you can't.
No, he has to wait a year, correct?
All right.
Yeah, it's like a year. If you're on the board
Yeah.
and you vote to create a position, you're not eligible to apply for that position for at least a year or so. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll abstain then.
Doesn't matter. You're on the board.
So I'd love to entertain a motion to fill this position as quickly as possible, or at least to advertise and work at that.
Make the motion that we
So
create
moved.
a position. Oh, Jim did too, whichever.
Okay, so I'll, Alyssa, I heard you first, and
Sure.
Jim, you have the second.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
All right. Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matthew Lillibridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Medore,
Yes.
Matthew Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitteroff,
Yay.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
and Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Great. That's unanimous. Thank you,
Excellent.
folks.
Next, policy committee.
Matt, are you going to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, sure. So we reviewed a number of, Tony's not here, obviously. So I covered for policy in the early, just before this school board meeting. But in the agenda, there's a number of policies up for second reading. Hopefully everybody has had the opportunity to look through all of the policies. I'd like to put forth a motion for second reading of all of the policies listed in the agenda.
So moved. So moved by Jack, was that you or? Yeah, okay. Second, please.
Second.
Diane? Okay, any questions or comments? Then roll call, please.
Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matt Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Madore,
Yes.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroff,
Yay.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
and Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Great. All right. Here we go. We're on to student reports.
Alrighty.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Becky.
So I'll start us off. The National Honor Society. Prior to our February break, NHS was able to distribute carnations to every student and staff member, thanks to donations made by our community, led by Kathy Cutler. We are working in conjunction with Ms. Butterfield to read in elementary classrooms throughout our district for the Read to Me project. We will be doing community supper at Christ Church on March 12th. We get together in the kitchen, prepare the meal, and then serve the food to local families. Last time we were in charge of community supper, we served over 30 meals and then delivered 10 meals to our police and fire departments. Groups are our community sign up to take care of the meals. This is not related to religion in any way. We will be working on our Earth Day campus cleanup and working with Tukey Gregoire on a bullying program. I'll hand it off to you, Alyssa.
All right. The drama club has had rehearsals for the zany murder mystery Clue and have begun. And already the show is shaping up to be hilarious. Ed Allen and our exchange student Zosha are hard at work building our set, and actors are ferociously learning lines and plan to join us in early April for our spring production. The Civil Rights team, this month, the team will focus on the theme of inclusion, modeled after the Special Olympics. Spread the Word Inclusion program, and our students will support and validate their peers regardless of race and skin color, disabilities, national origin, gender, including gender identity and expression, religion, or sexual orientation. We continue to work towards making Gardner Area High School a school where everyone belongs. And this week, students have, in their third or fourth year of language, have kicked off their SAIL biliteracy testing. It's giving students an opportunity to be recognized as bilingual, not only by the school district, but by future administrators and bosses. And it will give students the opportunity to connect with others when traveling abroad and overall make learning a new language exciting. And student Mackenzie Chappitt excelled at the Northern Regional POL competition on February 15th at Farnsworth Art Museum in Rockland. And she was chosen as one of the few students to move on as a state finalist for POL. And she will compete on March 13th at Bates College in Lewiston at 6 p.m. And she is an amazing performer and will certainly light up the stage. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Can I ask a question of Alyssa?
Yes.
So I thought the POL competition was tonight. Has that been moved?
Oh, yes, it's been moved because of the weather.
Okay, so it's next Thursday at Bates. At what time?
It's March 13th. I believe it's a Monday.
Oh, okay, gotcha. At what time?
at 6 p.m., I believe. Yes,
Great.
at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Melissa.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
So I would not really consider myself up until the last board meeting and the Addams Family production a huge fan of art stuff, I guess, but I was absolutely blown away. I was impressed. I had such a great time. Those students and everybody that supported that production, it was just remarkable. I literally thought I was on Broadway. It was just unbelievable. I have no idea how they remembered all of their lines, all of the music. It was just, those of you that were there with me, I'm sure you would agree. It was just unbelievable. And I probably will not miss another one moving forward.
That can be where we see you, and absolutely one of the places we see you. And yes, it was off the charts awesome. It was just unbelievable. So much talent, so much
and hilarious. I mean, the laughs were just, and I needed it. Believe
yes. Oh yes, you did need it. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Can I add my 2 cents?
Wish you would.
Because again, I agree with a whole lot of what Matt says. Unlike him, I've been to many shows, whether it was the Providence Performing Arts Center when I was a kid growing up, or the Schubert in Boston and stuff like that, or other places. I've seen a ton of Broadway shows, and this was my first one at the high school. And I'm mad that it was the first one I had been to based upon that one performance. I thought it was phenomenal. And usually the shows I had gone to were, Andrew Lloyd Webber type thing, where I knew most of the words going in, but I didn't know anything about the Addams Family, and the kids were great. The costumes were great, and yeah, the crowd reactions were awesome too. It was, I'm like him. I'm definitely going to Clue, and I can only hope it's half as good as, the Tim Curry, movie version, which is absolutely hilarious. But I have no doubt, based upon that, the Addams Family performance, that is going to be great.
Well, perhaps we'll have to work at making it another, if it's on a Thursday night, which they typically are, we can perhaps do our board meeting again in the library and attend the play together as a group, because it's great to go together and do something fun together.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to that. I have never had so much fun, and I have gone to many, many plays, but that's about the best, it is the best production of a show that I've ever seen. And I was sitting next to Mrs. DeSoto, was right next to us. And I hated to tell her, but this was the best one I'd ever been to. And I've been to every single middle school that I can think of for the last 7 years, I think it was. So anyways, it was fantastic. And I'd love to go again. And I will go no matter what.
Well, I think it's a great idea that if we can do it, to do it all together, because it really is nice to
It was fun.
play together sometimes as well as do business together. So, and Matt will invite you.
No, Alyssa does a lot behind the scenes. She won't give herself credit, but I've seen her at every production I've been to, and she's pretty awesome too. So good job.
Thank you. And the next production is on my birthday.
Oh,
that's awesome.
excellent.
Yeah, and we're so fortunate to have these two wonderful actors on our school board. So
right.
We get the inside track.
Yes. Right.
So thank you. Let's see, administrator report. Who's doing it tonight? All right.
I think that's elementary first, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's me. Okay,
You're on
here we
the hot
go. At LER, our noteworthy news is. Oh, yes. Am I coming through?
Yes.
Okay, at LER, the noteworthy news is that they have begun a Kindness Counts campaign for the months of February and March.
Staff are trying to catch and reinforce students who are showing kindness to their peers and to staff. When caught, students are given a coupon from staff that tells what the student did that was kind. Students are recognized over morning announcements. They have their pictures taken and put in our kindness celebrities book in the lobby. And to make it extra special, they have their names put in a pocket on a 100 board in the cafeteria. When they have 10 pockets filled in a column or row, those students will have a special snack time with Mrs. Moody. Students are very excited about this incentive. There's no challenge at LER to report this month, but a second noteworthy bit is that their custodians have begun doing some interior renovations to the school. The green vinyl wallpaper and terracotta chair rail have been removed, and the walls are being scraped and prepped for new paint in the cafeteria. The cafeteria staff are sewing new curtains. They're pretty excited about the transformation that has already happened. Pictures will be posted on the school Facebook page as the work is being completed. While it will take time to do the whole interior of LER, they are very much looking forward to a brighter, fresher school environment. At Riverview, noteworthy news is that Mr. O'Brien, their new PE teacher, took advantage of winter in Maine and took his PE classes out to go snowshoeing and sledding. You could see them snowshoeing around the back field and sliding on the sledding hill. And at Riverview, they love winter in Maine. The challenge at Riverview, Mrs. Duguay says, I know I sound like a broken record, but staffing continues to be our biggest challenge. At HT, teams have been noteworthy. Teams have reviewed winter testing data. As a school, we increased from 11% in the fall to 38% of our students performing at or above grade level in math. 71% of our students made growth in NUIA reading from fall to winter. Absences did not increase for 31 of our 68 chronically absent students. Grade 5 has our lowest absenteeism rate for the month of January, reducing from 20% in the fall to 13%. And the challenge is that staff absenteeism due to illness was high just before February vacation week, and many positions were unfilled by substitutes over the 2 weeks prior to break. At Pittston Randolph Consolidated School, the noteworthy news is that the enthusiasm for new books was contagious at the recent book fair. Due to the pandemic, they even had some first-time shoppers at the book fair. It was also wonderful to be able to support access for all students thanks to the support of the PTG and the donors who rounded up when they shopped. The challenge over at Pittston Randolph Consolidated is a remaining challenge to have enough support for students who require extra social and emotional teaching and learning.
And that is all?
Thank you, Katie.
That is it. I'm sorry about that. Kicking it over to the next group.
6+. Who's ready?
6.
Oh boy.
I will jump in and report that. Okay.
Katie, thank you.
At the middle school, the noteworthy news is that Read Across America Month is coming up. It's actually here now. It's the funny thing about writing these reports in advance. And preparations around the building are underway. Reading challenges, posters of teachers recommending great books, book clubs, and so many great activities that students are already getting excited about. Students are also currently participating in an empathy project called Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Students pick a shoe template and design it to suit their personality and place something on it about a challenge that they've been through. These are anonymous and are hung on the walls in the cafeteria as they are completed so others can see them, read them, and empathize with the various things their peers have gone through or are going through. This year, we streamlined our discipline referral process and aligned it to MTSS tiers. Recent analysis of our data shows a dramatic decline in referrals to the office this year compared to last year. A challenge over at the middle school is that they are seeing an uptick in social media conflict between students where the content of the messages is full of incredibly inappropriate language and comments made between students. Students are also individually posting pictures and videos of themselves that involve vaping, smoking marijuana, and sexual connotations out on social media. Other students are reporting this information of pictures and videos to teachers and administration as they're concerned about their peers. Over at the high school, noteworthy news is that they had Winter Spirit Week from February 6th through the 10th, led by the Student Council. The week included daily spirit participation days, a school-wide rally on Friday, and the snowball dance Saturday night. The National Honor Society chapter organized a Carnation Day on Valentine's Day, and the theater group performed the winter musical, The Addams Family, which was just a highlight among the board. There's no challenge to report from the high school. In adult ed news, noteworthy, it was a bumpy start to the year with unexpected staff changes in the office. Despite that, enrollment in our enrichment courses has improved over this time last year, and we continue to see 1 to 2 new intakes each week for high school completion. A new instructor, Mike Emery, is on board to help us part-time with math through the end of the year. He has many years' experience in adult education, and we're fortunate he is available to help us, or he is available to us. And a challenge for adult ed is we have a number of younger adult students coming into our HiSET program with a wide range of preparedness. This creates greater need for differentiating instruction and increases need for different career advising efforts. And in athletics, noteworthy news is that we had a very successful winter sports season, and it's not done yet. As Nate was writing this report, our girls varsity basketball team completed an undefeated regular season and was entering the tournament as the #1 seed. They've had wrestlers, swimmers, cheerleaders, and skiers all complete in their respective state championships. Boys ice hockey is still competing, or was still competing, in their regular season and hoping to earn a spot in postseason play. Our middle school basketball teams were very successful at the 8th grade level, with both boys and girls teams going undefeated on the season. And a challenge for athletics is finding suitable competition for our 8th grade boys and girls basketball teams.
And I guess we could add a couple things to athletics. So our girls played a great game against Lawrence, and unfortunately, they did not win, but really impressed with the quality of their play. They had a great season. Very sad that Mike Ray, after 19 years of coaching, has decided to resign as girls varsity basketball coach. And then I've also heard that our boys basketball team, received a Good Sportsmanship Award, and they will be recognized this weekend. Did I capture everything correctly, Nate?
Yep, that's correct. The boys will be receiving the Sportsmanship Award tomorrow night at the Class A State Championship game at halftime at the Augusta Civic Center. In addition to that, because that was written a while ago, our boys hockey team, our co-op hockey team, lost to Messalonskee last night in quarterfinal play. So they did make the postseason. And we have a wrestler, Eli Farias, who is actually probably headed down right now to Rhode Island to compete in the New England Wrestling High School Championship, which is quite an accomplishment.
Fantastic.
Posting things out on the Facebook page. It keeps me looking at stuff. I encourage you to keep doing that. That's great.
I will do, Alyssa. Yes, thank you.
So the final portion of the board report is from the directors. In technology, voice paging adapters, bell schedulers will be installed, or were recently installed, in each school building during school vacation week. Paging issues will be resolved, and users in buildings will be able to program the bells using a web browser moving forward. In special services, This year, K-8 special educators were offered the opportunity to review and select a math intervention curriculum that you just approved and they'll be adopting. I did not mention this during our curriculum report. 4 intervention programs were selected to trial, and last month, the special educators who participated in this process prioritized the options. And that is how we came to the recommendation that you approved this evening. Staff, a challenge is that staff attendance in some of our special programs continues to be a challenge. In curriculum, a sizable team from the high school will be working with building and district leadership in partnership with Nate Levinson's group New Solutions to learn more about student-centered secondary scheduling practices. It's a great opportunity to analyze and appreciate what is working at the high school and to consider opportunities for refinement in a collaborative manner. And that work actually started this week for a 3-hour virtual session during the snow day, and the staff committed to joining us even despite the snow day. So that was wonderful. In food service, noteworthy, her high school staff has once again stepped up and are able to keep the nutrition program growing while being short-staffed. The manager is very organized and makes sure that everyone is fed without having to make any changes in the program, even though it's a lot more work. And the challenge there is that she's still short-staffed at the high school. She has a long-term sub position available and is having a hard time filling it. Most people who apply do have their CHRC, which is their fingerprinting, and either are not applying. Oh, they do not have their CHRC, which is their fingerprinting, and either are not applying for or do not want to pay the money to get it. So that is the report for this month.
A question, Angela. I don't know if you know the answer, but what is the fee for fingerprinting? I feel as though it used to be quite expensive, but it's much less expensive now. Is it zero, Terry? $50. Okay, it's $50. I only saw the 0, not the 5. So it costs $50. So anyone who's listening who is willing to get fingerprinted and pay $50, please do, and we will welcome you. All right. Any further reports? None. All right. Hokefield. The Hokefield committee met. Not yes. Was that yesterday or the?
Yes.
It was yesterday. Boy, it feels like forever ago. We met yesterday. We continue to work on the design and the completion of the recognition wall. Nate sent us an email today that spoke to the amount of time that it will take for the bricks to arrive once we get there. Gabe is continuing to work on, what is that system called in the snack shack that we need, Gabe? Something compression system or something?
Hood and suppression system for the fire.
Okay, so we're still working on that, hoping that all of this can come together in a beautiful, neat package at the end of the school year, and at the very least during the summer, so that the snack shack is ready for football, and that the recognition wall will be hopefully nearing completion at that period of time as well. Am I forgetting anything? Okay, moving along. General information as written.
Mm-hmm.
And nominations, none. New business. Ooh, my favorite. The approval of the 23-24 school year calendar.
Yes, here we are. So you've received a draft copy of the calendar. As a reminder, and for anyone new who's watching, the state requires all school districts who send students to a tech center to collaboratively develop their school calendar. And we're only allowed to have 5 dissimilar days. So every year we work collaboratively with Maranacook, Winthrop, Augusta, RSU2, which is Halldale, Monmouth, and Erskine Academy is a part of this as well. As a private school, they do not have to abide by that portion of the law. However, they choose to, because it's certainly in the best interest of our students. So the calendar that you're looking at ensures that we meet the requirement. We do not have more than 5 dissimilar days. In fact, I don't know that we have a single dissimilar day at all,
Really?
that we're all pretty much aligned. The challenge for us, which presents a challenge for our students, are our early release days. The more dissimilar our early release days, the more impactful for our students, especially for like our students, because they only go to CATC in the afternoon. So the superintendents worked hard this year to try to better coordinate our early release days. And I just have to be really forthright with you that this year we were the ones, I was the one who put more of a roadblock and created some additional disparity in our alignment due to early release days. That there are school districts that, for reasons that work for them, are choosing to do more early release days on Wednesdays. But as we looked at the impact that that would have on our school calendar and the disruption to the number of school weeks throughout the school year, we really decided that we needed to stick with the school calendar that has been adopted most recently, in the last 2 or 3 years. So that means having our early release days that are tagged with a workshop day. That gives us a day and a half of real meaningful workshop professional development time for staff. And it also, we feel, works better for families. Rather than just having a workshop day that maybe is in the middle of the week. If we can tie it to another particular day, a long weekend, then that gives a family a little extra time for those that want to do something as a family. So beyond that change, that compromise, there really is no significant change from this current calendar. The one thing that is slightly different, and hopefully people will like, Christmas falls on a Monday. So normally we would go to school the entire 5 days the week prior to, but we have built in as a region the previous Friday off, just to give families a little more traveling time, staff a little more traveling time, and just to give them an extra long weekend. Otherwise, it would just be a straight week off. So that's really the only change. The last student day, if we have no snow days, would be the 7th of June with graduation on the 8th. So that's my recommendation.
That rarely ever happens, that the last day of school is before graduation.
That's without snow days, and that is
Yes,
exactly that's exactly how our calendar fell this year.
Oh, so we never don't have snow days. That was a double negative, but you all understand what I mean. Okay. We have snow days. I'll just say it that way.
We have snow days, so it is unlikely that the last student day will actually fall before graduation. But keep in mind that our seniors need to be in session at least 170 days, whereas all of the other students need to be in school at least 175 days.
All right then. So we need a motion, please, to approve the calendar.
calendar.
The calendar.
So moved.
So moved by Diane and seconded.
Second.
Thanks, Jack. All right, roll call, please.
Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matthew Lillibridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yes.
Nicole Madore,
Yes.
Matthew Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitteroff,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy,
Thumb up.
All right. I see a thumb up. Yep. Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Okay, great. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Next on the agenda is the approval of the Jewel litigation settlement.
Yeah, I'm going to stumble through this a little bit, so let me apologize for the front. But this information actually just crossed my desk late this afternoon. I was told it was coming, but I didn't receive it till late this afternoon. So, board members, many of you will recall that probably 2 years ago now, I mentioned to you the opportunity to join in a class action lawsuit regarding the use of vaping. And it was specifically to Juul. And they were targeting adolescents, young adults. And so this settlement, this particular lawsuit was to make them stop, right? And to prove that they really were indeed targeting students. And so there has been a settlement with Juul. And this is a nationwide class action lawsuit. So there were many, many school districts and other entities across the country who participated in this. And so I was notified that there has been a settlement. Some of that is a little confidential, so I have to be careful in what I share. But it is in the millions that was settled, and the share for MSAD11 is $36,383. Now, I don't know how that will come. If you remember with the opioids settlement, that is going to the state, and then the state will see about releasing that money to school districts. So I'm not 100% clear if that will come to us in a check, if it will have to go through the Department of Education. I'm not sure, but I do need to have you tonight approve this settlement offer, including the $36,383. Allow me to accept that offer, and then I can keep you updated as we move forward. If indeed we do actually receive that, I would hope that we would be able to use that money to work on social emotional issues, preventative measures to help address some of the vaping issues that we are experiencing in our schools. I have no idea at this point what that would look like, but certainly if that's what the money was intended for, that's how I want to make sure that we utilize it in our district. So, questions? Just great news.
Yes, thank you, Pat, for pursuing that.
You're welcome.
That was great. Matt, that pays for the new equipment for the food service department. Nah,
No.
nice idea, but nah.
No.
We'll target it to where it needs to go.
So I do need a motion to to allow me to accept that settlement offer if you are supportive.
Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'll make the motion. that we
Great.
accept
Thank
right.
you, Alyssa.
Yep.
Moved by Alyssa. Can we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jack. Roll call, please.
All right. Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matthew Lillybridge,
Yeah.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Medore,
Yes.
Matthew Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroth,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy,
Okay.
Sophie Matthew,
Yes.
Alyssa Henderson.
Yes.
Perfect. That's unanimous. Thank you all.
Excellent. Next on the agenda is the strategic planning update.
Yeah, Angela, you've been most involved in this. Would you give them an update, please?
Sure. So we have completed, last month we talked briefly about the strategic plan and that we were finalizing our round of listening sessions with staff. The last staff one was on Friday, February 17th. Students, family, and community members. And so now the next stage is what we call a sense-making stage. And so we invited back members of each of those stakeholder groups to participate, in meetings where they have the participants can go online and listen to recordings of their session and what they've said, and check for accuracy, prioritize and amplify elements of the narrative that was shared, and make sure that the interpretation that our facilitators will have when going through the process is going to be accurate. And so today we actually had a student session, and we have 2 students here who participated. I hope it would be okay if I want to give them just a minute if they want to share anything. Alyssa or Sophie. Sophie, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to share about your experience so that the board can understand what the sense-making session was like.
Sure. So we opened it up. We went through and got to see like our entire conversation, and then also got to see what we said on our own. And then we went in and just got to read through it and highlight the things that we thought were most important, and then got to talk a little bit more about that and how we could improve it. And then we also, if we had time, got to go into other people's conversations and got to see what they talked about and do all that fun stuff too.
Would you like to add anything, Alyssa?
Yeah, it just gave us a chance to like make sense of the conversation that we had when we did the rooms and stuff. And just gave us all the time to come together and like reflect on like what we talked about.
Super, thank you. We also held a staff session today. We had staff from every building represented during that session. It was just over an hour and a half, and they did the same. They went through the same process, and they were very actively. I didn't participate, but I was there at the end, and from what I could tell, they were all very actively involved and engaged. And they actually were really appreciative of the fact that the students had an opportunity to do this as well. And of course, we're having every stakeholder group engage in this. It doesn't have to be every member that participated in the first round, but we want a representative number going through the sense-making process. Because of the snow day on Tuesday, we've moved the community session and the family session to next week. So there'll be ample opportunity for those groups to participate in the sense-making process and check for accuracy. And also, like the students said, make the connections, amplify elements of the messaging that was shared. From there, there'll be a report that will be written. And remember, that report will have audio clips and be sort of dynamic. I think there'll be like a short version that we'll see first, and then a more thorough version later on when there's more time. And that will come hopefully in the near future to the board as part of our process. Pat, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just like to add, I believe last time that we met with Jennifer, we targeted Thursday, March 16th for her to attend a board meeting to present to you some of their findings and to give you an opportunity to hear what has come out of the sense making. So I would ask the board, what time would you be available so that we could begin hosting that event for the board? It would just be a workshop. So is that something we could do at 5:30, or would it need to begin at 6 o'clock? And probably it would take a couple hours.
What's the pleasure of the board? Does 5:30 work?
I put 5 in my calendar so I wouldn't forget, but I'm open to what works for the group.
The later the better is good for me, but again, I'll defer to everybody else.
Anytime for me would be fine from 5 on or later to accommodate others.
I have no problem with any time. Whatever, later, if it's better for folks, is fine by me.
5:30 or after for me, as long as I don't end up having to work late, but I won't know until that day.
Okay. Nicole?
So,
Yep, that all works fine for me too. Anytime after 4, so.
Okay.
so maybe target 5:30. I heard a lot of 5:30 and after. Okay.
Yeah, let's target 5:30. And Matt Lillybridge, if you're able, we'd love to have you join us if that works. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
5:30 on the 16th. All right. Next on the agenda is a snow day update.
All right, on mine, I'll go through my items pretty quickly. At the last board meeting, we talked about how we were going to make up snow days. It was a pretty robust conversation, and I thought I should just come back and officially announce what was determined. So I believe it was Alyssa who actually recommended extending some early release days, and that's exactly what we did. That is an acceptable way of making up snow days through the Department of Education. And so we had 4 early release days, February 17th, March 16th, March 30th, and May 18th. We are extending the dismissal time. And so the dismissal now for high school, middle school will be at 12, and for elementary, it will be at 1 o'clock. That makes up for 4 hours. We need to make up 5 hours for 1 snow day. So once we get a little bit beyond this winter weather, maybe by next month, we will be in a better position of determining when that additional hour will be made up, but we're going to hold off selecting a specific day. At the present time, the last student day is June 15th, and that is with just making up the one student day. So if we have another snow day, we will look at extending 5 school days. Gardner Area High School principalship position, that position has been advertised. We currently have about 5 applicants or so, and that will be closing next week. I've spoken with Becky a little bit and Tony about the makeup of a committee, and the makeup of the committee, as I am proposing, sorry if this is loud, I'd like to have 2 school board members. I will serve on the committee. Angela will serve on the committee. 2 administrators from the school, about 4 staff members, maybe 5 staff members. I want to make sure that we have really broad representation from various departments in different types of positions, a couple students and a parent. Alyssa, I didn't know, as a board representative, if you might be interested, since you're going to be here next year and Sophie is not, and then another student who serves in some sort of leadership capacity at the high school. So does that seem reasonable? That gives us an interview committee of 12, which is huge. But I just want to make sure that we have the voices of all of our stakeholders at the table. So, all right, and I'm going to try to push this forward as quickly as I can. There are a lot of principalship positions advertised at the present time. So I want to make sure that we are able to interview and select the most qualified and best fit for our school district. So I want to do this as quickly as possible. And if board members, if there's anyone who's interested in serving on the committee, and at this point I have no idea how much time it's going to take, when meetings are going to happen, it will all depend on how many applicants that are selected to be interviewed. But if you are interested, I would say reach out to Becky. If that sounds okay, and then we'll keep you updated. We also have Kennebec Valley Superintendents Association Showcase. This is something that the Kennebec Valley Superintendents did pre-COVID, and I wanted to let you know that we're doing it again this year. So on April 13th at Coney High School, from about 9:30 to 11:30, all of the school districts, including our school district, we're going to put on a showcase where we're going to highlight a successful program within our school district. We have the high school video production program that is going to be highlighted, and we are inviting school board members from across the region, DOE representatives, members of the legislature, the governor, various individuals such as those, to really just highlight all of the great things going on in our school districts, and to just put a spotlight on the programs, the really diverse programs that we're all offering. So we're trying to provide a elementary through high school perspective. And so I just want to put that on your radar. So for any board member who would like to attend, we would love to have you. And I will get additional information to you. But it's about 9:30 to 11:30 on Thursday, April 13th at Coney High School. And it's in their mini gym. Okay, so. And the other thing I realized that I'm not sure that I've notified you of, that I will be the Maine Superintendents Association's president for the 2023-2024 school year. So I just wanted to put that on your radar. So for next school year, I will be the Superintendents Association president. A little scary, and I'm certain it will keep me busy. But so that's all that I have for my report, Becky.
Excellent, thank you. You'll be a great president. It'll be good.
Yeah, thanks.
That's it. How is that possible?
That is it, except we have
for
two executive
sessions. Yes.
And I am expecting, or I'm hoping, that there will be a vote following the first executive session, but not the second executive session. So we're going to need to go into a room or something, Terry, so that the board can speak privately and then come back out and take a vote. Is that something didn't mention that to you before. I apologize. Okay.
Yep, give me a second to get that ready, okay?
Okay. All right, and for everyone else.
In the meantime, thank you all administrators, staff for coming tonight. It's always great to see you. Weird doing it this way again, but hopefully this will be the only time for a long time to come. So
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night. I would ordinarily say drive safely, but walk safely to your kitchen for a snack.
Thank you all.
Good night. Thank you.
I don't think they can hear you.
I think I've got you all, so give me 1 second.
Before you go in, I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Okay. Yep, sorry. Becky,
Yes.
Matt Lillybridge,
Yes.
Jim Lothridge,
Aye.
Nicole,
Yes.
Matt Marshall,
I guess, yes.
Jack Featheroff,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
Alyssa Tracy. Great. Okay.
All
Thank you,
right.
Terry. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you in the room.
All right. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Terry, we're back.
Hi, Terry.
Let's have Matt make the final motion as he's parting goodbye.
Okay, so
Missing
we need
one
him.
other Matt.
I'd be
think.
happy to do that, I guess.
Good.
There's
Here
the
he
other Matt.
comes.
So we
So-
still have a few people coming back in.
Yeah.
I set it so we have to wait 60 seconds and it will bring them all back automatically.
And
Smart.
Terry, I didn't write down what time we went into executive session. Do you recall? It's about
No.
8:20.
I would
video.
think, hold on.
In about 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I put down like 8:20. That'll give us about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
We can
What?
confirm later. We
Tiffany,
can confirm.
Katie Gould left at 8:18.
Okay.
Okay. So Matt, we'll be making a motion to ratify the bus driver's contract for 2 years at the amount that the negotiations committee brought to the board. So that's your motion.
Yes, I agree with Becky's motion. So
This is
moved.
your last motion, so say it.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. And a second, please. Thank you, Nicole.
Sure.
Read the roll, please.
All right. So we have Becky Fless,
Yes.
Matt Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yes.
Nicole Medore,
Yes.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroff,
Yes.
Diane Father,
Yes.
and Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Great. That is unanimous. All right,
Awesome.
then we need to go back into another executive session. This time, there will be no motion when we come out of executive session.
Make a motion.
So we need an
Executive session.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Jack.
All
Roll,
right,
please.
Becky. Yep,
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Matt Lillybridge,
Yes.
Jim Lothridge,
Yes.
Nicole Medore,
Yes.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Jack Pitheroff,
Yes.
Diane Potter,
Yes.
and Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Okay, that's everyone. Okay, see you in there.
Well, here we all are again. We're just bouncing around.
No,
Right.
no, we're gonna have to wait a little. Okay, hang on. Let me just make sure.
Oh, Jim said goodbye. Thanks for everything. So I
Okay.
don't think he's coming.
Should be all set then.
I don't know if we need to come back.
Okay, there is no action as a result of that executive session, so we can just adjourn.
I meant fair winds, Maddie. Fair winds and following seas. That's it, right?
Same to you, pal.
All right.
See ya.
All right. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Matt.
Take care. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Terry.